good evening. And when I say good evening, I genuinely mean a good evening. I know for a lot of you guys, the evening might not be very good. In fact, as of yesterday, your pulse would have been hitting the roof, right? And the only reading that your pulse would be giving out right now would have been stress, more anxiety. And it's totally understandable with what has happened. I mean, two most respected, most reputed examinations happen on the same date, at the same time. Who is to not stress? So, what you guys are going through right now is a given. In fact, if you are not stressing, I think that's a wrong. So, all of your feelings, all of your emotions are absolutely correct. But today, I'm going to try and ask you to not stress so much about it. Don't hit the panic button so fast. We are never supposed to jump the gun. We have to know that all things will eventually take its own sweet time, though. So, I mean, all of this is also a flavor to, of course, have a taste of. But eventually, things will clear out. And most likely, again, I am not saying this with guarantee, but most likely, one of the examination, most probably AILET, might just shift its date. Now, the reason why it's going to do that is because the notification clearly said that they are not sealing, they're not freezing on the date, which means there is, of course, wiggle room. We're all here, having studied inferences. So, of course, that's going to be one thing that we're going to hang on to. It's going to be the last straw, but that is going to be something that we will hang on to. Again, please understand there is no guarantee. But two examinations, such high stakes, such high octane examinations cannot happen on the same date, is what my understanding goes. So here I come today just to be able to give you some very raw facts about not the format, not the strategy, but for you to be able to make a wise choice. Because as aspirants, you must be thinking which one should I go ahead for? And worst case scenario, what if it doesn't change? What if it doesn't happen? 1.5 दिन तो already waste हो गया हमारा यही सोच के कि होगा क्या? So instead of just crying over spilt milk, because what has happened, in a week's time, we should get more clarity as to what date is shifting, even if it is, and if it is, what date is it likely to get onto. But the one thing that we have now understood is a guarantee of the consortium, and that be the consortium is going to, of course, it's become a creature of habit, and from the past 2 times you've been able to come to this guarantee, and that be the consortium of CLAT has decided that the first Sunday of every December is going to be CLAT. Happened the last year, happened the year before that, happened on the 1st of December the last time, happened on the 3rd before that, which means both of these were the first Sundays of the month. Again, 7th being the first Sunday. Previously, when CLAT used to happen in May, it had sort of allocated itself to the second Sunday of the month. So every second Sunday it used to conduct its paper. But this way, we've been able to understand that, okay, there has been there's been a practice, there's been a way in which they have always sealed on to the date, and most likely this is what they're going to completely, seal onto. This is going to be their strategy going forward. AILET, on the other hand, we never know. It might budge, it might not budge as well. So please understand, by no means at all am I saying that it is going to change. But like I said, a lot is at stake. The candidature of the students is at stake. The number of applications are at stake. So of course, the universities will get together, brainstorm again, and there should be some slight change. Now, just one thing that I want to address before I actually begin with the YT session for today, and that is, if in case AILET prepones, well, likely that also might not really be the case, because if it agrees to prepone, it is going to happen on probably the 30th of November, is what I understand is a Sunday. Now, if it's happening on the 30th, you have to understand the last Sunday of every November is CAT. So that again is a paper. And that again is a heavy paper. So, again, getting onto the same, of course, they're not of the same fraternity, so they might just go ahead with it. But having done the same, having decided on the same date with 2 papers might actually be a little managerial wise, it might be a little too hasty, and it might just, have some sort of chaos. Of course, we need to put some method to madness here. So, which means that it looks like if AILET decides to shift, it is going to shift towards the next Sunday. Now, next Sunday is again bad news. Why? Because आपका SLAT फंस रहा है फिर, right? It's going to be the 13th and the 15th. तो अब बीच में SLAT आ जाएगा because अगला Sunday फिर पड़ रहा है 14th को. So that again is going to be a problem. So let's see what they're going to come. But I've just spilled all the cards. I've put it out. I have given you what needs to, I've given you a timeline of how the dates are. And let's wait to hear from the AILET before we actually decide. Now, a lot of times, whenever something like this happens, collective actions tend to really, make a lot of difference. Now, previously also, the last time during the CLAT, I remember just about a week back, there was a notification that the consortium went about by saying that you cannot underline in the question paper. There was such uproar against this information that within 2 days, it had to retract its notification and give out a notification saying that marking is not allowed, underlining is. Because when you have the entire year in which the students have prepared on a certain modus operandi, आप एकदम से थोड़ी आके बोल सकते हो कि ये होगा. So please know, guys, while I do walk you through, of course, the facts and the figures, the opportunities, the likelihood, some very brutal reality around the two examinations, I do want you to know that this is not confirmed as yet, and it's very likely that they're going to shift. As much as your careers and your entire preparation is at stake, a lot of theirs is also at stake. And they, of course, have a lot of people to answer to. So they will be introspecting their decision, they will be brainstorming, and most likely there will be some change. Like I said, we will get complete clarity for it in the next fortnight. Until then, please make sure that you're preparing for both, unless you are absolutely clear of what you want. Some people, because I have come across a lot of students who are so hell-bent that the only college that they want to appear for has to be AILET, or the only college has to be a national. So unless you are, like I said, completely hell-bent and you have full clarity of what you see or where you see yourself in the next 5 years, that's okay. But if there isn't, of course, this is going to be something that you must not worry about, and don't start thinking, what should I practice? Because of course the formats are different. We've previously had a lot of YT sessions, and हम लोग ने हर उस YT session में इस बात को discuss किया है. Paper pattern अलग है, strategy अलग है, requirement अलग है, intent अलग है, practice अलग है, mocks अलग है, universities अलग है. So obviously your preparation has to be hand in glove. That is, you prepare for one simultaneously preparing for the other, but you can't leave one and prepare the other. Right? So ये सब चीजें हम लोगों ने बहुत बार बात की है, and I've just come here today to not only be able to motivate you to keep going, but also to just calm you guys a little bit by saying that you don't have to worry so much. Not now, at least. We'll meet again after 15 days if there is something to worry about. If there is no clarity that has come out. But as of now, we have to keep our fingers crossed and always hope for the best. I'm a critical reasoning faculty, and I've always trained you guys for this one thing, and that is reasonable people think optimistically. So let's put our ration behavior right now and not just jump the gun. Right? Not start to cry a river. कि भाई क्या हो गया, ये हम तो बर्बाद हो गए, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, nothing of that sort. And थोड़ा मिर्च मसाला तो चाहिए यार. If there is no spice, then what is life? Right? So stay with me for the next 10-15 minutes, because I'm going to tell you some really recce facts, figures that I'm going to play around with, which will help you evaluate what your expectation should be from the college and what is it likely to do. And after the end of the YT, please end the stream with a smiling face, because I don't want you to get worried any further. There is no reason. अभी थोड़ा आराम करते हैं. Still time है. In fact, आराम करना है तो पहला पेपर तो आपको तय है. CLAT is happening on the 7th and we have 156 days. So you have a target at hand. Do you really think you have the time, the emotion, the energy to be able to do this? It's not there. बहुत सारी चीजें यार करने को, पूरा पढ़ाई वढ़ाई करने के बाद इंस्टाग्राम भी तो देखना है. एयर इंडिया का एक और प्लेन आज स्किड हो गया. एयर इंडिया की तो कुंडली दिखवानी पड़ेगी. बहुत चीजों पे हम लोगों को वरी करना है. Right? So why worry about this only? This is something to, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to sort of, not give importance to it. But I will give it when there is time, or when the time comes. And that's exactly what I want you guys to do as well. So breathe, take, in fact, right now with me, take a deep breath, shake all this worry off, wiggle it out, and let's just try and understand what AILET has to offer, what CLAT has to offer, cutoff wise, opportunity wise, geography wise, and what is the candidature or what is the expected candidature one has, what is your chance of getting into it, what has to be the exact ratio for you to be able to perform, so on and so forth, and then make choiceful, very rational, intentioned decisions as to how we want to go ahead with it. Right? So, without any further ado, let us begin. Yes, I know you guys might just be having a couple of doubts. So, what I'm going to do is I will stay back 5 minutes after the YT and be able to take up your doubts. So, when I go open, when I, of course, open the floor for doubts is when you can start writing, but not now, guys. It'll get lost in transit. So, stay with me for the next 10 minutes because very quickly I'll browse you through information, of course, that needs to be done. But ये जो मैंने बोला है starting में उसको लेके रखो. Have faith in me, have faith in our ecosystem. We are all here. And towards the end, I will, of course, try to sort of motor you, charge you also for something which collective actions can do, but not something that we need to do right now. If the time comes, we'll come to that as well. But of course, not right now. So hang in there and let us begin with what is it that we have. So now this is going to be an ultimate guide amidst the date clash, of course, and let's understand, decide, and then act accordingly. So we will not make any hasty decision till the time we're not sure of it. So now what has happened? Of course, date clash to confirm हो ही गई है अभी तक, अभी के लिए तो हो ही गया है, right? They're both scheduled for Sunday, which is 7 December, and the time is 2 to 4. Right? But there is no guarantee to it. This has not been sealed in stone. It's not been set in stone. There still could be a chance wherein AILET might just be generous enough, might have its heart melt, and things might change. Don't know. Maybe CLAT as well, but CLAT consortium unlikely. But कोई ना कोई तो करेगा ही करेगा. तो आराम करते हैं ना थोड़ा सा. अभी से ही इतना anxious होने का तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. Right? So this means you can't appear for both. It's a direct clash that has, of course, left the students in frenzy. But right now, this means, but of course, it could also be that once the date changes, both of those two things are in your kitty as well. Now, please understand the format. Everybody knows it's a pen and paper, 2 hour, having 5 solid sections to itself. So CLAT has legal reasoning, logical, English GK, and quants. Quants, aka your DI, which is your data interpretation. Getting on to AILET, 2 hours, offline again, OMR based. You have English, 50 questions, GK 30, and then you have a common section of quants, legal, and logical reasoning put together for 70. More weightage is given to traditional legal reasoning here, unlike passage-based reasoning where you have in CLAT. So if you can see, the patterns are different, the number of questions are different, the marking scheme, of course, is the same, but one is about the accuracy, the other is about the speed. So the intent of these two examinations are very different, and of course, your candidature is also checked likewise. Now, seats on the line, please understand. Put together all the 26 NLUs that we have, Sare, from tier 1 to the last that we have, approximately, guys, please understand, these are all approx figures. 3,000 undergraduate seats hai hamare paas. 3,000. Right? This is until the last. Of course, there'll be some who leave, some who give the paper just because they're in their 11th and they want to get a taste of the paper. So obviously, we'll figure out what the droppers are and how one doesn't want to take a certain seat. And of course, there are so many reasons as to why, your seat gets upgraded, or it just might, or you might just fall in the line of the selection, the merit list. All things said and done, but mota mota itne bacche aate hain. NLSIU में 300 की वैकेंसी होती है, नलसर में 132, वेस्ट बंगाल NUJS में 100, NLUJ 172, and NLIU is 171 versus AILET about 110 BA LLB seats, including 10 supernumerary at NLUD. LLM के लिए हमारे पास close to 70 seats होती है. So if you see, of course, there's a lot of difference. 110 बस सारे बच्चों में 110 versus 3,000. Now, try and understand. Now, this is very important data that you have to know. Now, in the CLAT, about 1 lakh people give in the paper. That's, again, All of these guys are roughly, these are what the approximate figures are. So इतने भी बच्चे अगर दे रहे हैं, चलो अगर इसको हम लोग एक imaginary figure मान लेते हैं. Let's just think that if there are so many applicants who are giving, your selection rate, because only 3,000 seats, your selection rate is close to 3.5%. पूरे pool में से 3.5% बच्चे ही select हो रहे हैं. So the competition is not just cutthroat, it is cutting so many levels. It is so rigorous. It is very vicious. That's how the competition is, right? Top 100 में अगर आप जाओगे तो NLSIU, top 200 में Nalsar, and further down is what you go. Let's see AILET. Close to 15,000 to 16,000 applicants, the serious ones tend to apply. Selection rate. Please understand, previously हमने पढ़ा था कितने सीट थे 115. Selection rate 0.7%. Just that. तो क्या possibility होगी आपको seat, to be able to attain a seat in AILET? Just 0.7. Now that gets very heavy, right? General category cutoff is very high. So we just don't speak triple digit. We speak triple digit in, again, more than, because it's, of course, it contains more number of questions than CLAT, of course. Now, the preparation strategy. Now we know for a fact that wide range of subjects are what are asked. So we focus on the time management across legal, logical, English, because ये तीनों बड़े heavy reading sections होते हैं. GK and quants of course, पर ये non reading होते हैं तो इसको हम लोग फटाफट कर सकते हैं. But पिछले साल की अगर GK देखोगे तो GK was also, all of the information were passage based. So a lot of people are frustrated after the CLAT paper. Why? Because they thought कि हमने इतना GK पढ़ा सब passage based ही आ गया. So again, you never know. And which is why one thing that we know is for sure कि भाई passage तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा कितना भी आप रट के जाओ GK को. Right? AILET focused on English, GK, legal and logical reasoning. Past papers are very crucial because अगर आप past papers नहीं लगाओगे तो you will not know where you are and how much more do you have to be doing. Now please understand the geography and the college exposure that they have. In CLAT, you get admission on 226 NLUs which are across India. You could have a regional preference, right? अगर मुझे नॉर्थ में ही जाना है, मुझे ईस्ट में ही जाना है, साउथ में ही जाना है या वेस्ट में ही जाना है, या आप स्टेट प्रेफरेंस भी रख सकते हो, मुझे यहीं पे जाना है, right? State quotas होते हैं, so you might want to know. In fact, quotas, of course, there are so many more which you must already be knowing. There are varied locations. So geographically, CLAT is more expensive. CLAT in itself, in the college itself, again, has so many potential and so many opportunities which happen intra-nationals, which again becomes a breeding ground of talent acquisition altogether. AILET on the other hand is only NLU Delhi, सिर्फ Delhi का, और कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है इसमें. Central Delhi location है, excellent infra and exposure है. Obviously, it's like I said, it's one of the most coveted colleges. So of course, and people want to be there. It's the one, you get starry-eyed. It's like Tom जब देखता था ना तो अपनी Mrs. Tom को तो कैसे हो जाता था, the eyes would pop out. That is how people look at NLU Delhi. It has that charm to itself. Plus Delhi, right? Now, urban professional opportunities are all around. We have Gurugram that's coming up. But opportunity-wise, of course, all of the other ones are also okay. But as lawyers, of course, Delhi having the Supreme Court and the High Court and all of that, it's more exhaustive in nature. It is not regionally conflicting as well, like how the other could possibly be. Now, the fee structure is pretty much the same, of course, 1 lakh, but then that will be compensated. So, of course, NLU Delhi is about 2 to 3. Very high cost of living in Delhi. Everybody knows what it is. It's of course, it's one of the metro cities. It's one of the super metro cities that ways. Of course. Other NLUs around 1.5 to 2 lakh. Average, guys, please understand these are all average costings, right? Regional cost of living tends to vary. Campus lifestyle varies greatly. So wherever you go is how it is, because NLUs are spread across a lot of states. So you have one in Prayagraj also, you have one in Shivla also, then you have one in Bangalore also. So क्योंकि वो state wise and city wise distributed है तो obviously वो city का जो भी रैपो होगा या city का जो भी whatever is going to be the trend and the culture of that city is what embraces to the, or what begins to reflect on the national as well. Now, quickly, let's do a recce. Let's try and find out. Now, Dream University, if you are CLAT focused, please make sure the top 10 are the best. Of course, the other ones are also, but then we have so many private that come. Not every CLAT is a CLAT for that matter. With AILET, it is only NLU Delhi. What is the risk appetite you can take? इसमें आप ज़्यादा explore कर सकते हो. CLAT में the more seats, slightly lower odds. It's likely that you might just get into it. And of course, with proper coaching, proper mentoring, proper practice, NLUs are an easy go-to goal. Fewer seats, ultra competitive because सारे बच्चे जो CLAT देता है उसमें से अधिकतर देते ही हैं NLU D. And कितने कम ranks, उसमें भी quotas. So obviously you have to understand where, I mean, it's barely anything. You have to be ultra competitive to be able to. So your risk appetite reduces here. Geographic priority, any region across India, you can choose your place. So if you don't like Bangalore, maybe, I mean, it's very funny to say that who would not like Bangalore, but if you don't like Bangalore, you can then go to maybe Bhopal. You don't like Bhopal, you can go to Gandhinagar. So you can choose. Delhi, you can't really do that. It's an urban location, it's a very hep place, all things said, but it is Delhi at the end of the day. The prep style, this is a broader prep. This is something that is more laid out. It has more variety to itself. This is more focused prep because here the questions and everything are very specific to what the requirement of it is going to be. On to the next. Now, what should you be doing now? At this point of time, like I said, is there any reason for us to worry? No. Chill, relax, meditate. Gather yourself together. Don't be all around the place. Because, like I said, fortnight तक तो wait करो ना. थोड़ा सा wait करो पता करने के लिए what exactly is it. Analyze करो अपने test ranks and trends को. Identify करो. Don't begin to think, oh, it is 0.7% in Delhi, तो मेरा होगा ही नहीं. नहीं. किसने सिखाया इतना demotivate होने के लिए? पढ़ो ना. Miracles happen overnight. And you, my dears, are a miracle in the making. So who's asked you to ever worry and stop practicing? Just keep practicing. Whatever destiny has it, we'll see. We'll embrace that with open arms. And it's not that there are dearth of colleges. There are excellent colleges that we have. But then don't just rely on, see, the numbers are for us to know what reality has to offer. What you make of this reality is your choice. So of course you have to get to it. Target CLAT if you're seeing broader NLU options. If you're going more broad, right? If you're being more expansive. Choose AILET if fully focused on NLU D. अगर आपको पता है दिल्ली जाना है मुझे, यहीं पे कर रहे हैं तो of course NLU Delhi. Combined prep looks blurred, of course, because अभी तक हमको पता नहीं है कि क्या होने वाला है क्या नहीं. It's still blurred lines. Then what do? You will simply blend AILET's depth into the CLAT routine. CLAT के लिए पढ़ाई करो, AILET अपने आप होता जाएगा. On and off once a week, dedicate one day which is going to be exclusively to AILET, wherein you will prepare for AILET because obviously AILET का style अलग है. AR पढ़नी पड़ेगी, आपको क्वेश्चन स्टेम्स वैसे सॉल्व करने, 50 क्वेश्चन इंग्लिश में सॉल्व करने पड़ेंगे वर्सेस 24. सो एक दिन तो देना पड़ेगा. बट AILET का प्रिपेयर करोगे तो कभी CLAT नहीं होगा. It doesn't go that way, right? And the one thing that you really have to do now is decide faster, act even faster. We've got no time to be able to, sit and think and ponder and then waste another couple of days. We don't have days at hand now. We don't have hours also for that matter. Minutes have already gone by because from yesterday until today, I know we've given it so much of sweat that I think all of that time has been exhausted already. So अब आपको क्या करना है? अब आपको act करना है and trust your gut and your decision. Only when you put your eye on the goal will you begin to work for it. And as the days are going to get closer, the tension and the competition is only going to rise. So you have to act now and decide and of course reroute yourself accordingly. Because if that's not happening, then any day further is a waste of a very beautiful day wherein you could have had so many learnings to yourself, right? Now, again, like I said, I am not asking you to get onto any Andolan, but in case nothing happens, this is an in case slide, okay? We can petition the consortium and the NLUD separately. We can use the media. We as the ecosystem can also step in and request because of course this is too unfair and too mean. Push for the reschedule basically of course on the basis of fairness. While all of these things can happen, but it's not something that we want to do now. Bilkul bhi nahi, abhi nahi. If they get hellbent, we'll see. Together, we as a unit can make a difference, but not right now. So at this point of time, should you be worried or fretting about it? No. All of your worry should only go to आज reading comprehension में ये question क्यों गलत हुआ, मेरा mock analysis में number क्यों नहीं बढ़ रहा है. This is it. There is nothing else that you have to worry about at all. So please, guys, get back to your comfort zone of reading, studying. Do not panic. This is your moment to rise, to shine, and this momentum that you have, this craze and frenzy that is going around, while the others might actually be wasting so much time thinking, अब क्या होगा, अब क्या होगा. तुम use कर लो ना ये time. You will be 5 days ahead of the other ones. And this is not a hare and a tortoise race. This is actually humans racing and some very sharp minds racing. So if you're 5 days ahead and 5 days of practice ahead of somebody, you're really in the lead. So don't let yourself be pulled back. While you've come so many steps, one step backward can actually probably, take you a lot behind in terms of what your prep is and what your strategy is going to be, right? So please choose wisely, prepare smartly, and if need be, we will fight collectively. But is that going to be something that we're going to be doing right now? No. So I hope this has warded off all of the tension that you have. If no one, at least trust my saying. We've met. I've not met you personally, but I have met you quite a few times for you guys to be able to instill and install your faith in me. So trust me when I say this. It's all going to be okay. It will not happen. It cannot be as chaotic as as you know how it tends to look to be. So this will be figured out, but you have to focus and set your priority between the two. If one doesn't happen, of course, the other will have to be your redemption plan. It has to be plan B. So you'll have to make sure that you're not falling short in either of the plans because this is your best shot to make your career. That's going to be it from my side. If there's any doubt that still lingers on, please do write in the chat box. And now for the next 5 minutes, we're open to asking questions and answering. So I'm going to take those up right now. The other ones can leave. Always a pleasure coming and taking a session for you guys. I really hope I've been able to calm you guys down, at least be able to assuage, balm a couple of nerves, if not all. Well, the intent was all, of course. And I'm going to see you guys next time again with another super strategy video, which is already in the pipeline. But until then, relax is all that I have to say. I'll take up the questions right now, and then we're going to call it a day. Thank you for everybody who's listening, and you know the drill. Share it with like-minded friends who are also worried. Hit the like button if you really like this, and it did help calm your nerves. And I'm going to see you guys super soon once again. Okay, I think I have most likely answered all of the questions that we have in the chat box. So this is going to be it from my side, and I will see you guys super soon. And keep preparing, keep reading, because I think reading is something that are required for both the examinations, irrespective of which happens when. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody.